Hello and welcome to Week 7, Lecture 1, Training Program Design Concepts 1. In this lecture, we will cover the fundamental definition of what is program design, followed by different concepts which is used for designing program to develop and improve any fitness variable. The second objective is to recall the training principles, because the concepts of program designing is the application of these training principles. The outcome of lecture 1 at week 7 is to understand and apply training principles in program designing. Let's explore by starting what are the different concepts of program designing. The first concept is program design is a manipulation of acute training variables. Recall acute training variable which was covered in week 1. These are frequency, intensity, type, volume and progression, FITTVP. And this acute training variable is the first concept in program designing and the first steps towards designing a program to develop any fitness variable. The second concept for program design is application of training principles. These are the gas principles, progressive overload principles, and specificity principle. These are the principles of training which should be used for developing health-specific fitness variable as well as sport-specific fitness variable. Let's explore how these principles are actually the foundation of program design. Let's start by gas principle, general adaptative syndrome. The gas principle applies. The first point is optimal recovery is must. So after every workout bout, after every workout session, you should be giving an optimal recovery. Without giving an optimal recovery, you would always be in the state of resistance phase of the gas principle. The ultimate aim of gas principle application is to develop the new baseline. So whenever you start a new fitness routine, you have a zero baseline, and the ultimate aim and goal is to create a new baseline, to progress from baseline 0 to baseline 1, 2 and 3, and as you go ahead in the week of training, you try to develop new baseline. That is the aim. And in order to achieve that aim, the first concept is you should be giving a recovery after every workout session. The second concept and the take-home message for gas principle is always stimulation is not needed in every workout. This is a very common misapplication of program design where you think that you should be giving stimulation after every workout, week by week, session by session. But if you understand the gas principle, if you need an optimal recovery, stimulation for every workout is not required. So this is the concept that you should keep in mind when you design a program. The second concept is application of progressive overload, which can be applied following the concept of training load, which is frequency, intensity and volume. And this can be applied using different load theories. Now recollect the load principles and load concept in week 3. Where based on your capacity and intensity, you choose a standard load, a linear load, a step load or a concentrated load. This loading paradigm allows you to give a stimulation at repeated interval, thereby allowing an sufficient recovery time and getting a new supercompensation level. The third concept of program design is principle of specificity, which is also called as SAID principle. S stands for specific, A stands for adaptative or specific adaptation, I stand for imposed demand. So specific adaptation on imposed demand principle. What is this principle? It simply states that your body will adapt to specific demands placed on it and requires more such demands to produce more adaptation. To understand this sentence, let's relate to individual fitness variables. If you demand your body to produce, to be very specific, if you demand your muscles to generate a maximal internal force, the body will adapt by increasing its ability to produce greater internal force. And your ability to produce greater internal force against a specific weight is nothing but your muscular strength fitness. That's how you can relate and apply the principle of specificity. Here, the demand that you are putting through exercise is ability of your muscles to generate more internal force. When you provide this adaptation, when you provide this demand through exercise, your body will adapt and increase its ability to produce greater internal force so that you can lift greater external loads. And this ability to generate maximal force for a given weight, and if that weight is maximal, it's called as muscular strength. Applying the similar concept of principle of specificity for other fitness variable, the demands for generating submaximal internal force at greater velocity, if you demand this kind of activity through an exercise, your body will adapt, your muscles will adapt by increasing its ability to produce higher force at higher velocity. And ability to produce higher force at higher velocity is nothing but your muscular power. So if you want to increase your muscular power, you have to demand your muscles to contract at a higher velocity and at a submaximal force. If you demand this through your muscles, through a power drills exercises, your muscles would adapt and increase its capacity to produce more force at a higher velocity. If you demand your muscles to generate submaximal internal force repeatedly, your muscles will adapt by increasing its ability to produce submaximal force repeatedly, and this ability is nothing but your muscular endurance ability. If you demand your cardiovascular system and your muscle system to produce submaximal internal force repeatedly but for a prolonged interval, the adaptation that your body goes is increasing its ability to perform this activity. So your ability to perform a submaximal internal force, your ability to produce a submaximal internal force repeatedly for prolonged interval of time is nothing but your cardiorespiratory endurance or your cardio endurance fitness. If you demand your cardiovascular system and your muscular system to produce a submaximal internal force repeatedly at a greater lactate threshold in a short or a long bout, but for a prolonged interval of time, your body will adapt by increasing ability to perform a greater sport-specific conditioning. And this fitness is called as your conditioning fitness performance. So in short, if you want to apply principle of specificity, you need to match the demands with the adaptation. And these demands can be applied using the drills, the exercise that you plan in a program. So in summary, training principle should be applied to get an effective results from program design. Stimulation and recovery is must to get a general adaptative syndrome. Stimulation is not required in every workout in every week. Apply different loading paradigm to follow an optimal sequence of stimulation load and a retaining load. Thank you.